Welcome to Fundraising is Funny. I'm Lynn Wester.
And I'm Clay Buck.
Join us to share in laughter and stories as we take a lighthearted look at the profession that we love so much, fundraising.
Because sometimes we just have to laugh at ourselves.
Laughter through tears is my favorite emotion. Take a moment, take a listen. Hey, this could even be called self-care.
Bring your favorite beverage and a yummy snack.
In reality, we're here to deliver on our promise. We're going to make you laugh or cringe. And if you learn something too, bonus.
See, we're serious fundraisers. We believe in this work, but we also know we do some really ridiculous things all in the name of raising a dollar. Maybe if we laugh at and with them and at ourselves, we can bring a little joy to everybody in our sector.
Now, don't worry. In that pursuit of joy, we won't name names, but the stories we share are 100% real life in the world of nonprofit fundraising.
Because, come on, fundraising is funny.
Hey, Clay.
Oh, dear. Oh, yes. Lynn, hi.
Hi.
What's up?
Oh, my gosh. I love the work that we do so much.
The podcast?
Yes.
Or the
everything. But fundraising.
Fundraising. Okay.
Fundraising is funny.
Oh, the work.
The work.
Or the capital W.
The royal work. W. So I got a story for all y'all. I am working in Florida. We had this office building that was sort of near campus, sort of off campus.
Was it a trailer?
No. That was the Colorado School of Mines. They had trailers for a while until they built their new office building.
Oh, yeah. No,
yeah. It had a beautiful view, though.
I can name some schools that have trailers today.
Well.
And they're wonderful.
Well,
they're really nice trailers.
I mean, yeah. So, can I tell my story, or are you just going to sit there and think you're... No, not right now. So I walk into the building now. It had a first floor and a second floor.
Yup.
And my office was on the second floor.
Yup.
And depending on the day and the mood, I either elevated or I stared it. So I decided I would pretend it was Hyatt. And have you seen at the Hyatt hotels now that they have placed vinyl stickers in their hallways of their staircases? And they're like, go on a nature hike. And you like climb mountain stairs.
I have seen that.
Problem was last time I was at Hyatt, I was on floor 15. And I'm like, oh, hell no, that's not a nature hike. That's horrible.
Yes.
So I climbed the stairs up to the second floor where my office is.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been in an on-campus meeting. And so I opened the stairwell door and I see one of my colleagues fly past me in her wheelie chair. And
like her desk chair.
Her desk chair.
Yeah.
And someone else go, you've got it, you've got it, you've got it. And our building was one big, like, rectangular with an opening in the middle kind of thing. And so my office mates had taken to NASCAR races around the floor in their office chairs because they apparently had had a very strenuous morning where a deadline came down and it was just one of those mornings. And so we found them, and the whole data services team was NASCAR racing
in their desk chairs
around the office. There was pushing, there was some rubbing is racing kind of things going on.
An OSHA incident waiting to happen.
I can tell you that campus risk management probably was not happy. But then all of a sudden the boss comes upstairs as well. And she goes, wait. And I'm like, oh no. She goes running into her office and she goes, I've been waiting for this. And she brings out a hallway bowling kit that she had procured. And it was like outdoor bowling with like plastic kid-like pins and balls. And we spent the next 35 minutes laughing so hard at hallway bowling.
But didn't you have deadlines that needed to be done?
Oh my God. But there were tears streaming down.
But you had work to be done.
Oh yeah, no. But we had to get the release, you see, in order for the work to be done.
Right.
And I laughed so hard. And it was such a culture thing that the boss brought out and that she had gone and bought it. Right.
Yeah.
And I just loved that she had gone and bought it and was playing with us. And then after a while, after, someone lost and got a little heated about it, we all went back to our offices, and it took a really bad day for some people and turned it into a really great day.
I love that.
Right.
I love that. I had a guy who worked with me, and he had direct reports that reported to him. He was a phenomenal manager, just not a manager. He was a leader, and his team adored him, and they did amazing work. And he and I together were just gold. Like, we worked together just brilliantly, and we would have like really stressful, tough.
Yeah, everybody has stress.
Okay, so you know how, right now, this is before flat screen monitors.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and they were all in kind of a cubicle farm, and he had the lead desk in the row, and then everybody was there. And everybody could see his desk. Do you remember privacy protectors on screens? Mm-hmm. Right, those sort of blacked out.
I always felt like if you had one, you had something to hide.
Well, I mean, maybe he had sensitive data, so it made sense, right?
But also,
well, if you were looking at it from the side, right, it looked flat.
If your significant other has one of those on their phone.
Well, so periodically, I would go in, and his team would see me coming because a lot of them started before he did. And periodically at the end of a very stressful day or before, the next day, I would slip a sheet of black construction paper in between that privacy guard. And we'd watch him.
Oh, the office shenanigans.
And like the whole team is just laughing at him because they knew. And he's jiggling his mouse. And he's crawling under the desk.
Oh, best day ever. Trying to plug things in and unplug things.
And then he's coming to me because he wanted to come to me first before he called IT. Because once you call IT, then it's a thing.
Oh, they enter a ticket.
Right.
You're
there's a ticket
number?
And there's a whole thing, and he's coming to me, and I'm going to go, I don't know. Gosh.
I don't know.
Mine's working just fine. And it wasn't until that he would take the privacy that the cardboard would fall. What was funny about it was, yeah, the first time we did it, we did it like 5 times.
Oh, the office shenanigans repeated are amazing.
And the point is, the fun
that we have at our jobs. And you know what? I've had offices like at Rollins where we had so much fun, and UNC Charlotte where if God forbid you had something awkward happen or an awkward photo taken the next day, you would come into work and your whole door would be in that photo.
Nice.
Or sometimes people would just reply to you with a photo of yourself, right? And you'd just be like, well,
we used to,
like shenanigans.
I don't know what made me think of this offices. With what you just said, but we used to have this literally in building this report. We got to the end of Excel.
How?
It was that long because there were that many ridiculous pages. Well, every week we had to update this report with the productivity measurements from the week before. Anyway. Well, so my colleague and I that had to do the report, we started putting in things like in certain cells. Is anybody reading this?
Easter eggs.
Yeah, all throughout.
You were like Taylor Swift.
It went for 2 years. We updated those messages every week. It went for 2 years. No, finally, in senior management, somebody went, have these notes always been in here? And we're like, what notes?
I
think in one of them we had started writing puns, and like, these puns are really good. And we went back and showed them the previous reports. We're like, we've been doing this for 2 years. You never noticed. The point was A, fun. And we had the culture that allowed it. And B, this report is silly and nobody's reading it, and we know
why are we doing this? Right?
Exactly.
But like this office shenanigans. Well, sometimes. One of my favorites is when people would dare to take vacation when the rest of us are working, and they're like, I'm taking 2 weeks and going to like the Netherlands, or I'm going to go to Spain. And we would be sitting there going, I'm going to the other side of town tonight, to Walmart. And so don't leave. Don't leave.
Don't leave
for 2 weeks and not know that when you come back, everything's going to be different.
And there's always, hopefully, right? If the culture's there for it, there's always the rearranging somebody's office, moving somebody's office around. Like, hopefully, many of us have those stories. Because the converse is the offices, and I think this is what we're leading to, is those offices that
have no fun,
that are like this.
So, you know what, Clay? That's a really interesting thing.
What's that? Then?
I went to interview at a place that shall remain unnamed and took the job there mistakenly and did not pick up on that everybody's door was closed. It was the kind of place where people wore turtlenecks for fun. There were soft whispers throughout, and I'm a loud cow. Like, you don't want me in a library. I'm like, wow, and sorry for those of you who turned that up in your car.
I am so sorry.
So sorry, audio engineer Eric.
Everybody
guys.
that I ever worked with in an open office environment.
I am not an open office girl.
No.
There's no door for me to slam.
No, I am barely a this.
Yeah, this is a lot for us. Like, pretty soon I'm going to shove him down.
Oh, the shenanigans.
Yeah, but I also realize that you can pick up on culture based on what you hear in the offices. So that leads me to a thought. But in order to have a thought, you know what I need?
A shenanigans.
I need you make one mistake.
If we combine, well, I'm sitting here trying to combine schnack and shenanigans together.
A schnackigans.
Schnackigans. When we come back, we will have this.
I was getting to a very serious point in this very funny episode. What was it? I misplaced it. It could be in Clay's office. I'm not quite sure.
Are we back from Schnackigans?
Oh, I'm back. I'm picking the Schnackigans.
Schnackigans.
No, it needs to Shenanigans.
Shenanigans?
Like, do we take how does one do the whole combining of the names? Like Benifer. Like, why was it not Jen?
Well,
Ben.
Well, that goes to our whole discussion that we've had previously about women and right.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. The man has to come first.
Of course.
Oh,
yeah.
Stop.
No, not of course he has to come first. Of course, that's what it relates to. That's what I meant.
Sorry. You escaped that one. There were some militant feminists coming for you. I'm just seeing. And some dissatisfied partners if you catch up what I'm picking up, what I'm putting down there. So, office shenanigans. How do you know that it's a culture that likes to have fun? How do you know that it's a place that you're going to fit in? Because also that's key, but also fortunately our work is not life and death. Our life is not work and death. Well, it might be.
No.
But are there people that don't want to have fun?
I want to say this. Our work is not life and death.
Yeah.
But people do live and die.
That's true.
Because of the work that we do.
That's true. I agree with that.
So
that's fair.
And I want to acknowledge that the whole reason we do this, the whole reason we talk about fundraising is funny, is because we have to laugh at this because we do carry some very serious stories. I really believe that we as fundraisers are in the middle. Right? We are carrying these, for many of us, these stories of the beneficiaries of our missions and our benefits that are going through, for some of them, for many of them, the worst, most awful time of their life.
Right.
That's what our mission is. And then we're coming back to the office
and laughter. And
we're coming back to the office and we're dealing with not shenanigans, but some real heavy stuff there. So we're living in the midst of these really heavy, tough stories. Can we not do it with some joy, with some laughter, some having fun?
It's got to be fun because otherwise, lighten up. It's interesting. We find ourselves, you and I, in some professional situations where we would like people to lighten up. I'll give you an example. So Clay and I.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. We're not going to name names.
Okay.
I know he's got a professional reputation to uphold.
I'm not naming names. I'm still scared of what story this could be.
We go to speak at a conference, and the name of our session is Fundraising is Funny. Fundraising is Life.
Yeah.
After Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
And we have little army men with us. We've got cookies. We've got coasters. We've got treats for days.
Yeah.
We also have what's forming to be a packed room.
Yeah.
Which we love.
Yeah.
Except for when people sit behind us, which we don't love and it creeps us out. Right. And also I just feel bad for those people. And lo and behold, we turn up with our volunteer that's going to host our session. Remember when I said people who like to wear turtlenecks for fun? We're in New Orleans as well. Yeah. We're having a blast.
We are.
We're sober.
Yeah.
Well fed, though. Oof.
Yeah.
Really well fed. And we are about to drop 60 minutes of hilarity, love, empathy, like a good time. We're a good time.
Yep.
And this person,
God bless.
I don't know. Oh no. Wanted to treat this session as if it was the peace talks somewhere in Switzerland between two warring factions. And they were there to provide the gravitas because we were a bunch of clowns.
I want to acknowledge that they were doing what they were charged with doing, right? They were doing what they were asked to do.
Ruining my day?
No.
Oh, making sure I understood that fundraising is a serious profession.
Go back to what we were talking about with Grace, with all of that. Right. I want to acknowledge that. And they were doing exactly what they were asked to do as the room host.
Very sternly.
But God love them. They couldn't quite get the feel of it. And I think we all know. I think some people heard the tone of this episode and kind of put on their. I almost said Walkman.
Judgy pants.
I know. I almost said Walkman.
No! They put on their headphones so no one else would hear it.
Exactly. They heard the tone of this episode and they're like, I cannot listen to this in the office out loud. NSFW. Yes. Right.
Or not safe for. We are not.
We are not safe for work.
Unless you have an office that we'd like to work in. And then you will play us on a big screen.
But we like you and we want to work with you. So your office is one we want to work in.
Yeah. And I'm bringing the bowling kit.
And okay.
But this person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Our friend.
Lighten up.
It's not that serious. I mean, literally the clock struck the minute. People were walking in the door having conversations and this person was like, and we shall get started.
Yes, there was some very serious moments.
And went up to the stage and the podium and looked down upon us.
I think I've used a podium in 15 years.
I've never used a podium.
Yeah.
If I have to use a podium, I'm sad.
I'm the guy that takes the microphone off the podium and stands in front of it if I can.
I try to stand on the floor because I don't want to go ass over tea kettle on the stage. Let's be honest.
I have two questions.
Okay.
I have two questions because I think, and these are important questions because.
What is the meaning of life?
42. One, where's the line? Because there is a line where joviality and good culture and fun crosses into silliness and ineffectiveness.
When you're not getting your work done, right?
Right. So it does take a fine line. It does take a fine balance. I
don't know if it's fine. I think it's wider than fine. I think it's a chunky tip. Like, I think it's a Sharpie line, not a Uniball.
Okay, yeah, fair.
I do think I think we need more Sharpie lines and less Uniball lines. And for those of you who are stationary nerds like ourselves, you will understand that reference. Not Sharpie pen, like the good old fatty Sharpie.
Yeah.
Right?
With the big wide tip.
With the big wide tip.
But they dry out the cap and you almost get like...
remember the markers that have the scents?
Remember mimeograph machine?
Oh, mimeographs. Like scent, right?
Oh.
Okay, but I do think there needs to be more of a Sharpie line around humor. So I'll speak for my experience in America now that I don't live primarily in America. America has lost its sense of humor. There is selective outrage everywhere, like Chris Rock said. And everybody's mad about everything sometimes, and you can't just say a joke and be funny. Like, what about assuming positive intent around that humor? But I do agree with you. There is a line between having a jovial, collegial office and living in a horrible place and working in a place where no one has a sense of humor and nothing's funny and you can't get your work done.
So go back to the story about my manager, right? I knew him very well.
So you knew you could play with him.
He knew me very well. And he knew that I was not trying to undermine him or mock him or make him or belittle him in front of his
but it's
team,
hilarious.
Right? And he knew that he could play jokes and tricks on me, which he did. And he and I we had conversations about it because we very pointedly determined as the leaders of the team that they looked to us to take the temperature of what we do. We wanted to play that role of, yes, this is very serious, intense work. And yes, you are held accountable for delivering on the work. But my goodness, lighten up and let's have fun while we're doing it.
Ooh.
I do believe, and if I had to throw a punchline out here, it would be one, have fun within boundaries. But you have to talk about what the boundaries are.
What's a boundary?
Okay.
Yes. And so Clay and I, improv comics, don't you know, over here at Fundraising is Funny. We should go to either Toronto or Chicago and do improv classes together just for S&Gs. And if you need to know what S&Gs are, they're in the show notes. So here's my question.
Took me a second.
Here's my punchline. Yes, and.
Yes, and.
If we're going to turn around maybe a sour culture or a burnt out culture or a culture where they're not laughing or there's not a lot of joy, me first, meaning I've got to be a little self-effacing. I've got to be the brunt of the joke. I've got to be the one that's not so serious all the time. So if you pick on me, I've got to have that affable sense of humor.
Yeah.
So that I can be laughed at too, or laughed with as well. Because I think if they see the leader doing it, it will be more comfortable for other people to do it. You also want to make sure that it doesn't roll into bullying or, picking on people. Right. But
it's never meant to be. It can never be belittling, demeaning.
But fundraising is funny, Clay.
It is funny. Here's the thing.
It is funny.
That I believe fully to the tips of my toes.
Ooh, the tips of your toes.
The tips of my toes from the bottom of my heart. Fundraising is very hard work.
Oh.
It is very hard work. And the stories that I talked about earlier, those are difficult. But it is a work of joy. Because think about what we get to do. We get to talk with people and help them realize their values, something that they believe in, and put their hard-earned money to it to make good happen in the world. And then we get to take that money back and go, we can keep doing the good thing because of them, right? Yeah.
And it's joyful.
It's joyful.
It is joyful. That's one of our core values.
And I think we sort of went, we need to be business people because we need to be more business-like.
So you're telling me, but
where do we get the idea that business?
But there are businesses that have joy.
Bingo. Where do we get the idea that formal means serious and dour and serious? And
taking ourselves so serious. I mean, I think neurosurgeons have a sense of humor.
Probably some of the
darkest humor,
right? We probably don't want to know.
No, the jokey jokes they make standing over us.
We do not want to know. So here's what I'm gonna say.
Wrap it up in a bow for us, Clay.
I'm gonna say, encourage humor, lean into it, laugh. Shenanigans. Even if you don't think of yourself as a funny person, give into laughing and enjoying and embrace joy. And if you can't find a place where that's possible,
come hang out with us.
Fundraisingisfunny.com.
And go to fundraisingisfunny.com.
Share your funniest shenanigans with us.
We want to know your office shenanigans. Yeah. We want to know your best fundraising joke.
We do.
Like, attorneys have so many jokes. Why do we not have a catalog of fundraising jokes?
How many fundraisers does it take to change a light bulb?
Well, it depends on the mission statement. Is that against brand?
No. And no. How many fundraisers does it take to change the light bulb? None. The donor does it.
And on that note, folks, we bid you adieu.
To you and you and you.